How did you meet?
Exactly, in Edoye. We met in high school, but of course she was much too young for me at that time. She apparently had a crush on me.
Yes, welcome to this wonderful musical conversation with Mádé Kuti, my wonderful brother here with me on this wonderful weather in Lagos, Nigeria. Uh, First, I'd like to ask Mádé Kuti a few questions that I think many people would like to know. It's just a simple conversation. It's not like an interview. It's just a simple conversation. So, Mádé,
Yeah.
please let me know if I'm going beyond the boundaries. But first, I'd like to ask, when you relocated back after schooling
Yeah.
in England, when you relocated back to Lagos, what influenced that decision? I remember that it was about the time that the early Japa syndrome, when people
Yeah.
were relocating out of Lagos, out of Nigeria, to places like Canada, England,
Yes.
Western world.
Yes.
And you, to the best of my knowledge as well, I remember that you were working in London, even while you were scooting, you were doing some part-time work. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that you were a liability or you couldn't
No.
find your path in London.
Yes.
But I realized that you made that decision.
Yeah.
What influenced that decision to relocate back to Nigeria?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me on Kokwe. Happy to be here. The first, before I left to study, it was always my intention to come back. So I think that is the most important sort of factor in my return. It was that my going to study was to go and learn what I couldn't learn in Lagos, so I could return and then put into practice the knowledge that I had gained outside of the country, because we didn't have, and we still don't have, but we have, emerging music schools, like, not emerging, but very decent standard music schools like Muson, but not quite on the funded level of Trinity Laban or the Royal College or the Royal Academy. So I went to the conservatoire because I thought, as a musician who has this opportunity,
Yeah.
it is in my interest and the interest of my community if I can get this knowledge and information and come back to put into practice properly all these things I've learned and put it in a more relatable format to, the musicians around me. And I think that because I intended to always return, even when I was there,
Yes.
and the standard of living is of course better, the social services are better, life is generally easier. It's not necessarily happier, but it is easier. And I thought that as I was nearing the end of my university term, the last year I was in 4 years, I was 7 years there, and I did 1 year of A levels, kind of, and then 2 years of, 1 year of a engineering course,
Yeah.
2 years of BTech, which was sound engineering, and then 4 years at Trinity Laban, which was
Okay.
a conservatoire, and I did the bachelor's in composition. And at the last year, I had a job as a teacher at WKMT, and I was earning a decent wage. I can't complain.
Yeah.
And it was good, but I had to reflect on what initially took me out of the country, which was knowledge. And at this point, I felt like I learned a lot, and I wanted to not turn away from the things that ignited my passion for music, which was as much as recording, as much as, playing in
teaching.
amongst my peers and teaching. The thing that fuels me the most is performance and composition. And I thought the music, of course, that I love the most is Afrobeat music.
Right.
Afrobeat music is intrinsically conscious music.
Correct.
So how can I speak consciously and speak about progress and speak about development and speak about, take creative angles on how I feel the right direction is for my people to take if I'm not here to properly experience it. I didn't ever want to be a hypocrite that would be in the diaspora, being very demanding of what the people in Nigeria should be doing. You have to behave like this if you want progress. Vote like this or do like this. But I'm not there. You know, I'm enjoying the comfort of of a decent,
Yeah.
standard of living. So I thought, no, if I'm going to sing about progress, I should be here to see what
It
is in
like,
need
yes,
to
you
progress from.
experience it.
Exactly.
Oh.
Of course, I'm the firstborn of about 4 sisters and 2 brothers. And the age gap between me and them is about 12 years. I didn't want to not be there for them in their formative years because I was absent for 7 good years. And at this point, they were in their early teens. I thought they should know who their elder brother is. I should be able to protect them to the best of my abilities before they leave and go to study. Whether they return or not is up to them. But I wanted to be a present sibling. And most importantly, I wanted to be there for the shrine.
Fantastic.
So the shrine, of course, is a family business, but more than that, it's one of the most important tourist destinations in all of Nigeria. And it has such a powerful history to it, such a
True.
powerful, it's the ethos of the shrine
Honestly.
doesn't really exist the way it does
totally
anywhere else in
agree
the
with
world.
you.
And I would hate for this to be
Trivialized.
to not misroad per se, but to be mishandled by someone that doesn't have the same level of commitment towards it like a family member would.
Sure.
So those are the reasons I came back.
Fantastic.
Because it was my mission to come back. So I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I didn't say I was going to London. I said I want to go and learn
Study
and come back.
bring the knowledge back.
Exactly.
So I can see that when you wrote the song, I think it was your first Free Your Mind, Free Your
Yeah.
Mind. Was it coming from this bedrock?
Of course.
This knowledge, of this understanding that you had before starting that journey?
Totally.
Coming back, you came back and you said, you know what, free your mind, free your mind, and free yourself.
Totally. Because I feel like one of the things that I've been privileged is having the kind of community I have around me, like my dad.
Yeah,
You
yes.
know, so I've always been able to think freely, ask questions. So Free Your Mind is not so much about being liberal. It's not so much about being open-minded. It's about everybody participating in a conduct that allows them to discuss freely what should be done in the best way possible. So I don't believe in like censorship, or I don't believe in, I may disagree with people heavily, but I still think it's important to have open discussions about, I think the best way you can ever show or prove your point is in a discussion with someone that you truly disagree with. And that's what Free Your Mind is about. It's about opening your mind to more possibilities, more than you know, more than you accept. Challenge yourself, and then through that, you can start to understand what your own values are. Because if you don't have anybody to challenge your values, then you're stubborn.
Okay, so allow me to go a little bit. Let me go a little bit about something maybe you might not know, but honestly, many of the viewers would agree with me that Mádé Kuti has been a very positive influence when it comes to love, when it comes to relationship, and having an ideal relationship. He got married a few years ago.
Yeah.
He wasn't scared about all the news and the paparazzi and the societal norms about, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. He was ready and he went for it. But the question that I think many people have never asked was, how did you meet Stephanie?
How I met Stephanie. So she has now legally changed her name to Inedoye Adane.
Okay.
Without any pressure from me. She said, you know what, Mádé?
Yes.
I like how Pan-Africanist this family is. You know what? Inedoye, this name, which is sort of translates to my desire. It's such a beautiful name. I'd rather have that as my first name.
Okay, so I take that back. How did you meet?
Exactly, Inedoye. So we met in high school. I was a few years ahead of her, and she was a few years below me. And I think she apparently had a crush on me. But of course, she was much too young for me at that time. She's 3 years my junior, and 3 years a junior in high school is like 20 years junior in real life. It's like it's a very huge gap. So years went by. We were never harsh towards each other. We were very nice to each other, respectful towards each other. And about a decade, no, not a decade, about 7 years went by, and I came back to Lagos. We got to talking. At this point, she was much older. I was much older. We were a lot more mature. And one thing I think that made me take even more of an interest than I already had in her was her frequent visits to the shrine. It was not common to see someone her age that was that daring to come and see, okay, what really is happening here? I've heard all the bad news, I've heard all the negative publicity, but let me come and experience it. I brought her for her first time, but since I brought her, she never stopped coming. No matter the relationship between us, whether we were on good terms or bad terms, she kept coming to the shrine.
Awesome.
She kept dancing. She never let herself be swayed by public opinion. And I just thought, if someone is going to be in my life in a Kuti umbrella, it has to be someone that can withstand.
Yes, that understand
exactly
the depth of the Pan-Africanist, the
Very
depth of
true.
your being, the depth of the
Exactly.
family.
And has the strength to calm herself away from the noise, because there's always a lot of noise.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Wow.
yeah.
So that means you've known Nedoye for nothing less than
Yes.
about 15 years?
15 years now, yeah.
Oh,
Maybe even 16, I think.
wow.
16.
Wow.
Yeah.
So please, for those of you that is looking for, maybe you should go to your high school.
Go and check
Go back to high school.
Open your yearbook.
And go and find your first love. Go and find your first love. Okay, so now let's ask some other question. Let's talk about Afrobeat.
Yes.
Now, I'd like to ask you, just to know, that when we talk about Afrobeat, Fela started Afrobeat as a genre.
Yeah.
Now, before Fela's father too was a musician.
Yes.
Fela's grandfather was also a musician, and that is already 3 generations.
Yes.
Now let's come from Fela. Fela to your dad, Mr. Femi Kuti, was also a musician.
Yes.
And now coming to you.
Yes.
Now, on the Afrobeat, do you feel at any point that you carry the weight on your shoulder of this family ancestral legacy? Do you feel that you have a weight on you?
I think that in terms of Afrobeat, I don't think the weight on my shoulders is concerning Afrobeat. I think it is concerning the Kuti name. I think what is important for every member, because of course I'm not the only child of my dad there, but there are 4 girls, 3 boys. So there's 7 of us. So I know that each of them, the direction that they're headed towards is not at all musical. A lot of them are not even interested in the arts. But I know that they will still live their lives with a certain responsibility because of the name that they carry. Because Fumile Kuti, as immense and powerful as she was, and the change that she brought to Egba land, was not a musician. And Israel Oludotun, as much as he was within the music realm and could compose and write, he's known as a teacher more so than a musician, because he, of course, led Kuti Grammar School and Abeokuta Grammar School as well. And so many students would claim that they would travel for miles on foot just to be part of this system of education that he was creating, because he was a disciplinarian and he was Pan-Africanist. And as well, JJ Ransom Kuti. So the Kuti name, music is only one of the many elements that the Kuti name carries. So as I've decided to be a musician, so I must be responsible as a Kuti to carry on this music in a responsible manner. So that means that I must not abuse my knowledge of music. I must not reduce the essence of what Afrobeat is. I should not dilute it in a way that it loses its true essence. And its true essence is progress. It is conscious thinking and the the truthful forwardness of the African people.
Okay.
So as long as I'm doing that, I must still be creative. Fela inventing this genre of music. My dad, of course, taking this into a very different direction, but maintaining the message
Yeah.
is the same thing I'm doing. So creatively as a musician, I have to experiment. I can't be conservative with what Afrobeat should sound like, because otherwise I am not pushing it forward.
Okay.
But the essence of the message must remain, which is that what is it that we must do now in order to be better?
Yes.
So yeah, there's a weight, but it's not too heavy to carry.
I like that. Yes, there's a weight, but it's not too heavy to carry. Okay, so let me ask this question concerning Afrobeat.
Yeah.
So there is Afrobeat and there is Afrobeats.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's only within the Kuti families that can best interpret Afrobeat?
I think that Afrobeat is such a young genre of music compared to jazz or classical music or rock music. It's a very recent genre of music. It's only about, I think, 60 years old now. Even less. I think it was 69. We can say that Afrobeat was properly invented. So that's to give it, about 50 years. And I think that because members of the family have grown in the crux of Afrobeats, which is the shrine. So my father, of course, before he started to write his own music, had grown up in Calcutta. He had seen firsthand how Fela was writing, what he was trying to achieve with his music. Uncle Sheon as well grew up in Calcutta, saw all of that, participated in all of that. I grew up in Shrine. So we have, I wouldn't say that we are the torchbearers per se, but we have a position of truth, which is uncompromising, in which people can look at us and believe that, okay, in fact, these people are maintaining their own truthful standard of what they believe this genre of music is trying to achieve. Does that mean that we're the best? Does that mean that we are the greatest Afrobeat musicians that will ever live? Of course not. The moment something is created, it is no longer privatized, especially in a creative field. It means that today, tomorrow, no matter how many years from now, a genius composer, truly passionate about music, wanting to compose, wanting to be an instrumentalist, write the songs, participate in orchestration and arrangements, perhaps more skilled than me or my father or Fela, can take it into an even greater direction than any of us could.
True. Okay.
I'm happy
Sorry,
about this.
I can see that you are now sweating because I'm putting you under this very. It looks good weather, but when I saw you sweat, it's not the
humid.
question,
It's not
but
the question.
it's the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
Yes, I'm happy. It's good. Better than
Let
cold.
me not take you more. So let me ask my final question. My final question is in two parts, but I'll make it my final question so I can allow you rest a bit and then looking forward to your performance.
Yeah.
The question is this: what is it that people do not know about you?
That do not know about me.
You.
Ah.
My second one is what I think I know about you. That's. Let me say what I know.
Okay, yeah, please.
And then you will now say what I do not know. Okay,
Okay.
so the thing is this, that I know that you have your core values.
Yes.
And I know that your core values are always right
on my
with
neck.
you, on your neck. So
Yes.
I know that about you. So what
Yes.
is it that people do not know? Just in case you don't know. He has a very small
my one and only tattoo. Just so every
Just
time I see
beside
myself in the
his
mirror,
neck. Yes.
I can remember what I stand for.
Those are his core values. Yes, he carries his core values with him. So what is it that people do not know about?
One more. Okay,
That's it.
I'll make it something simple that is not too complex, because I am an avid gamer.
Okay.
So I think people don't know that about me. I play a lot of games.
Okay.
And I've played a lot of games most of my life. So as opposed to, say, another person's leisure activity or hobby, like going out or drinking or partying, I would rather play Ghost of Tsushima, my PS5.
Okay, please don't challenge him on snooker.
Yes, so don't challenge me.
Don't challenge him on snooker. Yeah? Please.
Or
don't.
table tennis.
Or table
Generally
tennis.
games. I like
But
games.
you know what? Maybe we'll have a PS5 competition somewhere. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Thank you so much, Mádé, for coming. It's such a big honor to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be
on
here.
this side of the world, Lagos, Nigeria. Until we see you on the next one, don't touch it.
Bye.